Okay, hello everybody. Anna here from Spiritual Being. Tonight we're doing something a little bit different for this video. This lovely man here on the other side of the screen, he is a friend and client of mine. His name is Dean and he lives in the United Kingdom. And I had the idea of doing interviews with some of my clients after they have their house healing work. And Dean very graciously agreed to be the first client to do this, because Dean and I, we have lovely conversations together and we can both talk. So this is going to work really well. So this is Dean, and I wanted to give you an idea of what it's like from the public's point of view. So if you're someone that contacts a house healer, and what do they actually do? You know, why am I contacting them? What are some of the signs and symptoms that you are experiencing that makes you go, oh my gosh, I need to get someone in to look at my house? So Dean, that is the first question I'd like to ask you. What made you go looking for someone like myself to help with any signs, symptoms of unusual activity in your home?
Right. Well, first of all, Anna, thanks for having me on. It's going to be great fun. It's nice to talk to you as usual. Yeah, I'll tell you the full story. So, and it is a bit of a story, really. We bought the house that we're in now in 2019, and it was a bit of a quick decision. We've been looking for a house, and my wife Jane had said, "Look, we've got to move. We've got to move." And being the usual bloke, I just put it to the back of my mind, and I kept saying, yeah, that's fine. And she showed me all these houses, and I said, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. And it came to 3 weeks before we had to move, right? Basically, 3 weeks, it's as close as that. I was on the settee, laid on the settee. I thought, I better take this a bit seriously. So I reached out, pulled out her iPad from underneath the coffee table in the living room, flicked it over, and sure enough, there was this house that we live in now. So I said to Jane, what do you think to this house? She said, that's the house that you told me only a matter of months ago was the ugliest house you'd ever seen, and you'd never lived there. So anyway, I said, no, honestly, this time I'm serious. Let's go and have a look at the house. So we came round to look at the house. Cut a long story short, we got straight up, we booked it with the agent, we came round, and an elderly couple lived here. So we came for a look, had a look round, we liked the look of it of everything, but the lady who lived in the house said something very strange to us. She welcomed us in, brought us into the living room, and said, do you know, she said, I've never liked living in this house. She said, in fact, I hate this house. She said, I can't wait to move out of this house. So we looked at each other and thought, maybe she's just a bit grumpy. I said to Jane, do you like it? She said, we've got everything we need. So we said, right, we'll go back home. We'll have a think about it. We walked back because we lived in the same town, and we lived 5 minutes away. So we walked back home. We had a cup of tea. We talked about it, and we said we're going to buy it. So we bought the house. Everything went through okay. It came to the day to move in. Everything went smoothly. We moved into the house. Seemed to be it needed work on it, needed decorating, that type of thing. We got a fairly good feeling about it. I mean, I wouldn't say it felt odd straight away to be in the house, but I could detect something. I could detect something in the house, but we were so busy moving in and decorating and everything. And yeah, everybody who came to visit liked the house. They liked the feel of it. I never thought there was any problems whatsoever until my son started having problems. I just noticed a change in his behaviour. It was miserable. He looked depressed. He wasn't eating properly, and we tried all sorts. The job that he was in, he wasn't happy in his job. He didn't want to go to work. Basically, he just stopped wanting to go to work. He didn't want to go out. He did a lot of road cycling, and he didn't want to go out with his friends on his bike or anything. He was getting really worried about it. And then I go through in the morning. I tend to sort of have my breakfast, and I'll watch a few YouTube videos. And I've done that for years, all sorts of YouTube videos. And this particular day, I came across a video from Tim Walter, House Healing Network, as you know. And this video was about how to find energy centers in your house. And Tim was describing that you ought to get a couple of coat hangers, metal coat hangers, and bend them into an L shape, put them in your hands and do some divining and see if you can find an energy center in your house. So this video was telling you that the easiest energy center to find was the one in most living rooms right in front of the television. So he said, that's the easiest one to find. If you want to experiment and just try this at home, try. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I went into the wife's wardrobe looking for a coat hanger. Yeah, found this wire, took the dress off, obviously, put it on another hanger, you know, and cut this hanger up, bent it into an L shape. I thought, I'm going to give it a try. So nobody else was in the house because, you know, they thought it was a bit strange if I'm walking around with bent coat hangers. So, yeah, I followed Tim's advice, went straight in front of the television, holding the two divining rods. Wham! They went straight across me, crossed straight away.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, straight away. Really powerful. Shoom, almost slapped into my hand. So I thought, there's got to be something here. So I thought, well, I'll try it again. I mean, maybe I was just tilting, or maybe I was doing something myself. But I held it really loosely. And I mean, even as a kid, we used to do water divining. We lived out in the country, and you know, we'd go finding streams and things. You know, we've done it with bent sticks, like a bench stick like this, and it points down to the ground. So I knew what it was. And anyway, I did it again in the living room. Sure enough, across the living room, woof. So I thought, hold on a minute. If we've got an energy center, a powerful energy center in front of our television, maybe he's got an energy center in that room that's disturbing him. Maybe. So I went upstairs, and the bedroom that sleeps in used to be the master bedroom for the couple who lived there here previously. And I've got all the original photographs when the house was sold and put up for sale with the agent. And these pictures show positions of the furniture. And I knew that bed was in the exact same position as the old couple's bed. So I got my rods out again, went across, walked over to where his head would be on the bed, and woof, I got the same type of strength. And then I realized, I thought, hold on, maybe the energy center in the living room downstairs in front of the TV might extend up through the bedroom ceiling, the living room ceiling to his bedroom, which is direct above. And so I found that energy center where sleeps. And so I thought, I'll carry on. I'll go in all the other bedrooms. And I walked into our bedroom, did the same, went around the bedroom and found another energy center just close to where I sleep in the corner. That was the daughter's bedroom. I then went into the back bedroom opposite the bathroom, which in the end turned out to be the main problem, but I'll come to that later. And sure enough, it just went crazy. That back bedroom, my rod just went crazy. So I thought, right, I'm going to get back on the email to Tim and I'm going to tell him what I found. So sent him the email, said I found these energy centers and all the rest of it. Could it be related to this problem? He emailed back and said, yeah, it's possible. He said the energy from previous occupiers can affect current householders. So in the meantime, I'd sent him the email and carried on watching some of Tim's videos. And that's where I came across your videos, Anna. And I started watching your videos, and it was fascinating because this is I'm not into that type of thing, really. I've been into personal development for years. I've got lots of books. I read books, start books, and then stop reading books. And I'm moving into different things, but I've never been into this side of things. And I started watching your videos, and I was watching videos, and binge watching the videos. And Tim came back to me and said, yes, we can do a house clearing. So I said, have you any connection to Anna on YouTube? And I thought he must have, because you're on his channel a little bit and what have you. So he said, yes. I said, well, can you refer me to Anna? So he said, yeah, I'm sure she can help you. No problem. So he forwarded my email onto you, and that's how we came to meet. And that's how I asked you to do a house clearing for us. That's how it came about. So that was what instigated house clearing. But I'll come on to the house clearing part later, but I was also having problems. And I was getting really bad anxiety attacks that I kept to myself. And I hadn't suffered any anxiety attacks since I was about my early 20s. I'd had nothing at all. And just out of the blue, I was visiting my son in Bath, south of England in Bath. And I was driving home on the motorway, and I had the most horrendous anxiety attack where I just couldn't drive. I just could not drive. I managed somehow to hit the slip road and come off. I was shaking, I was sweating, I was panicking. I just didn't know what was going on. And this was totally, I've never had anything like this before. And it really hit me hard, and I couldn't drive home. Jane, my wife, had to take over, and she drove home. And I don't know, I thought, where has this problem come from? Something's been affecting me. And then this was after I'd sent an email to Tim, and he'd suggested that I contact you. Just that time in between, I thought maybe my problems, related to the energy in the house.
Can I interject here a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
What I find as a paranormal specialist is that when paranormal beings who have been occupying a home for a very long time, when it comes time to move out, they can actually sometimes influence the person who has instigated the change.
Really?
Coming. Yes, this is what you're saying now is something that I've experienced with a few clients over the years, is that they will exacerbate someone's pre-existing condition. So you may have already had that panic
tendency
type incidences in, like, maybe from childhood or something that had happened to you in your younger life. So the possibility, the vulnerability, thank you, management just said to me, we're all vulnerable in different ways. So for you, the emotional vulnerability of being put in that panic attack state is something that is going to trigger emotions, because these things happen sometimes when these paranormal beings know that they have to leave a house. They don't want to go, but I treat them with respect and compassion. It always works out fine, but they'll try all sorts of different tactics to keep things the way that they want them.
Right. Yeah, well, that makes sense. It makes sense because this came out of the blue. And this is just not ordinary anxiety. I mean, I've talked to a friend of mine who's a nurse, and she suffers anxiety. And I asked her, and she's also, she coaches in the NHS health service in the UK. And she coaches a lot of anxious patients. And I didn't know about that. We're sat on a sunny afternoon last weekend, and we're just talking. And I said, did I tell you about the anxiety episode? I was telling about the house clearing and everything, and she listened, and I said, have you ever come across anything as severe as that before? She said, not exactly like that, no. I said, really? She said, honestly, I've coached and helped loads of people. She just recently retired. She said, I've coached loads of people, and I've not exactly like that. I would say I'm 99.99% back to normal now, I would say, but it took a lot of moving. But that house clearing that you did for us and subsequent personal clearing that you did, I mean, that made a massive difference to it. I mean, you probably want to talk about the house clearing next, but when I arranged the clearing, I remember I was so naive to this that you said we arranged everything, and you said, yeah, no problem, I can do it. All I need is have you got a house plan? Plan a layout of the house. And of course, I had one from when we bought the property. The estate agent supplied us with one and everything, so I copied that PDF. And then you said, so I need that. And then you asked me, could I provide sort of a potted history of occupiers in a house? Well, luckily, there's an old guy who lives next door. They've lived here. They've lived in this street since before this house was built. Could you provide me a potted history? So he gave me a history right from the day it was built right through. So I supplied you with that. And you asked for a couple of photos, just simple things. nothing that took me more than 5 minutes to do. Picture of the front, picture in the back garden, sent it off. We arranged the day, and I was so naive. I said to you, you said, all right, I'm going to do it on the Friday. And I said, oh, but I'm working on Friday. I had visions that I'd need to take my phone and do a Zoom or something and point at things. And you would go, yeah, just turn right or just turn left or whatever. And you said, no, it's all done at a distance. Time and distance doesn't, and I'm all new to this. So I was laughing. And you were laughing at the time. And you said, go about your normal day, go to work, do your normal things. So and we sort of forgot about it, and in a way. And then you emailed me and said, it's done. It's taken me quite a few hours to do. I was really excited to get the report. I remember I was checking my phone, lunchtime at work, I'm having my sandwich, and I'm checking, and there's a report come. No, it's not come yet. Because I knew there was going to be something that had affected us. Okay.
For the viewers, can you describe some of the signs and symptoms that made you think that there was something in the house? Because you said when you were moving in, you felt that there was something in the home that didn't feel right. So can you describe what it felt like?
It started off as an unease. I wouldn't say I went into certain rooms and felt a little bit spooky or whatever, but it was like my mind couldn't settle here. And when it started affecting really badly, and making him just not himself. I mean, he's not that type of a kid. He's a happy kid. He's always joking and things. And I saw this effect. And immediately, for some reason, I didn't think medical. I didn't, because I knew he was a fit, healthy lad. He did a lot of cycling and everything. I thought there was something energetic. And that's why I was, in the back of my mind, obviously, I've been searching for something, but it just didn't feel right. I'd go to bed at night, I'd lay in bed. I mean, I wasn't staring at the ceiling, thinking, no, I can't go to sleep or anything like that, but I didn't feel easy. There was the back bedroom, which turned out to be a major problem. I'd ask him in the morning how he slept. Oh, not too bad, Daddy. The bed was a bit uncomfortable, which it's not. It's a really comfortable bed. We didn't sleep that well. It was tossing and turning. And that was the general thing. It was just this unease where I couldn't pinpoint. It wasn't in one place. It was multiple places. It was even in the kitchen, in front of the stove.
Energetic imprints in the home from previous owners, their mental states, their emotional states, their medical states, addictions, lower vibrational behaviors like addictive states like alcoholism or gambling or anything that creates an unwell sense of mind or emotions can affect your health, but it can also attract these paranormal beings, which is what Dean was feeling in his home, is that the previous couple had created all these energetic imprints in the home, moved out, left Dean's family to move in, and they're inhabiting this space that has other people's energy in it. And that's why you were picking up on all this energy that was around the home. It's not us. I don't know what that is. When people's behaviors change, pets' behaviors change, you start eating more, eating less, can't sleep, getting angry, when you're not normally abruptly just outbursting with anger or all these sorts of things, as an example, is a sign of paranormal influence, because the paranormal beings come in to feed off the emotional imprints in the home. And some of these homes that I've cleared can have 40, 50, 60. There's one that I did recently that had like 80 years worth of imprints in the home.
Oh, wow.
Not every occupant is going to create negative imprints. It only takes one family to go through extreme trauma, mental and emotional health issues, to drop all these little puddles of these emotions around people's homes. The build-up is what attracts them. And over time, with more people moving in and out of the homes, that is what you would have felt when you walked in and gone, oh, it doesn't quite feel right. Don't know what that is. I'm just going to leave it. We're moving furniture and all that sort of thing. But telltale signs like the behavior changes and not sleeping in a bed that is normally comfortable is a telltale sign that there's something in your house that shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Well, So getting back to the report that you sent. So we did the clearing and looking for the report. I'm excited to get the report because I want to solve this. The only thing I'm interested in really in life, my philosophy, it's health, obviously happiness. And the family's they're not healthy. They're not happy. When the family aren't healthy and happy, I will go to the ends of wherever to find a solution, because I always believe there's a solution. It's there if you look for it, and I was going to find it. No matter, people were calling me crazy at the time, and I kept it to myself. But I knew there was something here. And when we got that report, I can remember it. I was sat in the chair. Jane was sat on the sofa, and I said, "There's Anna's report." And I opened the email, and it's a great report, pages of report, and I was surprised just the detail and the amount of time that you took to do it. I didn't know how long it would take, but I was surprised. I can't remember exactly, but it was a good few hours, maybe 4 or more hours to do this clearing for us. So I read it through, started to read it through, and paranormal activity none. Thanks for that. And I said to Jane, there's no ghosts. She said, "Oh, thank goodness for that. Oh, no ghosts." I said, "Yeah, but there's more. And then I got to the second. I said, "There's demonic beings." And she said, "What's demonic?" Hold on. It's not as bad as it sounds. Anna's clear, whatever it is, trust me, Anna's cleared it, you see. So what was amazing as well, you'd done the house plan and you marked on the house plan all the energy centers. And when I looked at what you'd marked on the plan and what I'd actually detected with my little bent coat hangers, some of them were in the same spot exactly. Yeah. And I said to Jane, this is your proof. There's your proof right there that this is real, this thing is real, and I was on the right path. And I showed her it, and she had to admit, she said she was a little bit skeptical, let's say. She was a little bit skeptical. Thought I shouldn't be dabbling in them things, we don't want to bring anything in. I said, I just got a feeling that we wouldn't do that. We just got to put this to rest, get this moved on. And so I went through the report, and as I say, in our room, where I detected in the corner, there was an energy being, I think, in there. And in the corner, on the photographs which I've got when we bought the house, I could see the layout of the furniture. She had a study desk in that corner. And I think despair was imprinted 12 years ago, whatever it was, in that corner. And so there was an energy center there. Maybe that was related to my anxiety. I'm laid in bed, feet away from this area. I must have been absorbing that energy, surely. Anybody would. And then I took the plan and went around the house. And then this bedroom opposite the bathroom, which is the one I mentioned before. Yes. In there. And I always thought there might be something in this bedroom, but what you found out just amazed me. That apparently had been his bedroom originally. And I remember, because I'll never forget it, you said that clearing that bedroom left me in tears. That the energy in that bedroom, the energy of despair, there was depression in that bedroom imprinted. And you gave us exactly the years when this happened, this imprinting. And you went on to, in that section, it went, because this was the bit that really, my jaw just dropped. I was in shock. I could feel, I can do it now. I can feel the hairs on the back of my neck. And you said there'd been in that room, all attracted these demonic low energy beings. And I was starting to understand, and it all made sense. This was a room that I'd had my son staying in with his partner, where he couldn't sleep, even though it was the comfiest bed. I gave them the best mattress in the house. It's the comfiest bed. They've slept on it since beautifully, but they couldn't sleep in this room. And this is the room that had the major problems. And what really also struck me was at the bottom of our stairs, come down the stairs, and there's a little bit of passageway. I've got it imprinted in my mind because just the thought of it brought me to tears. On four occasions, I think you said, there was despair imprinted at the bottom of the stairs. And that's where our little Yorkshire Terrier, Radley, used to sleep. We used to put his beds in the passageway. Yep. And my wife, Jane, said to me, and we had Radley sleeping in there, and he wouldn't settle. And we didn't know why he wouldn't settle. That was it. It all made sense. Everything made sense. It all came together in my mind. There was the evidence. There was the proof in front of me. And it was great. It was what we needed. we'd found the key. I'd been looking for the key to it, and you found the key.
And I was so pleased to be able to be of service to you. So this is how I
was great.
work, is that this year of 2022, I've been shown more what I call trauma imprints in people's homes. Now, generally, it will not be from the current people who are living in the home. These are trauma imprints from people who have lived in the home previously, like you were talking about earlier, that we found in the home. And because you were open to understanding fully what was in your home, I shared the trauma imprint. I won't always go, but on odd occasions, I will need to share that. There'll be some reason why the homeowner actually needs to know that information.
Yeah.
But trauma imprints are as real as the emotional energy imprints that can be in homes, can be in furniture, can even be in the fabric of the building. I'm sitting next to a wall here. You know, if something happens up against the wall in this house, the actual structure of the building can absorb that energetic imprint, and it holds it within the wood or the brickwork, within the paintwork. And someone can sit here who is energetically sensitive and go, I feel great until I sat here, and all of a sudden I really feel yuck. I've got a stomach ache, my head's hurting, I've got a headache. You know, I think I need to go to bed. That sort of sudden change in behaviours, if it's not medical and it's not a mental health condition that have both been diagnosed, then it can possibly be an energetic cause. And I've been doing this work for a long time. And the more I do, I'm learning all the time. I mean, I've had jobs in the last 2 weeks where I've gone, oh my gosh, there's a whole new level and layer of energetic interference that these paranormal beings are instigating in people's homes, just so they can stay and feed off what is being created. Now, there's not always what I call the big Ds in people's homes.
No.
Two types of energy beings that I will mark on my report. Generally, I call them all dark energies, for those that I feel aren't going to cope with knowing the dark, the demonic type energetic beings. But sometimes it's useful to understand the feel of demonic beings. They are extremely heavy. They will make you feel very unwell in your body. Dark energies will waft by. You might have a bit of a headache or feel that sort of breeze where you go, oh, it feels a bit weird here. But the demonic beings they're just a heavier, denser energy. And they're the ones that will, what I'm finding is, because I'm learning about this as I go, there's no books written on this, other than the one I've written recently. There are no books on this information that treat in a respectful way and understand what demonic beings are. They feed off heavy energetic emotions like fear, paranoia, resentment, jealousy, hatred. And they are the level of beings that also feed off the trauma imprints. I'm not finding that dark energy beings feed off trauma imprints. But it's the demonic level beings, because it's such a heavy, low vibrational emotion. When people have mental health states, they have addictions. You know, there's been a murder or a suicide, or there's been some sort of altercation in the home, is going to create trauma wherever it has happened. And that's what these beings feed off. But the good news is, remove the trauma imprint, remove the emotions that are attached to it, and the paranormal beings go, well, I don't want to be here anymore. There's no food source. There's nothing for me to feed off here.
I mean, that's it. I mean,
that's how you can move them out of people's homes, is because once you remove the food source, you've got to do the
makes sense.
Though. There's no skimming. There's no skimming and going, oh, you know, I'm just going to stop there. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was the clearing, which was, I've got the report on my phone, I refer back to it, I reread it. It didn't frighten me. I can't explain it. I've not dealt with any of this before. I wasn't fearful of the word demonic being. I don't know why. I just felt, I did feel that they were not threatening me directly. It's not an attack on me. I felt that for our family. It was something that was left over. It was something, but that analogy of feeding on their old energy. And I've always thought that about energy. Everything's energy. We're told. You read all the books, you watch all the gurus that tell you everything is energy. And that makes sense to me as well. So the whole idea of these beings feeding on the energy, but not on me. But as a byproduct of them feeding on the energy, it's affecting my son in a big way. It's affecting my wife, and it's affecting me with these panic attacks. And once we had that clearing done, I remember it. So we got the report, read the report, jaw dropped, we, hairs on the neck, tears from both of us. Yeah, we were both in tears. Don't ask me why. We were looking at each other across the living room and with tears rolling. And I could tell that things had been released. It felt a releasing, even in that early stage. Because, I mean, it does say in your aftercare report, what we can expect and how long things can take. And I thought, well, yeah, it's going to take a while. And you'd said, the house has to rebalance itself. The energy has to rebalance itself. And that made sense. So I wasn't rushing anything, prepared to just take it step by step. But immediately, it felt that next morning, it just felt so much lighter. And it's been amazing. And yeah, we love living here, and we plan on staying here for a long time.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It feels great. Everything feels great. The energy feels great. The house feels great. Feels balanced. I think the house wanted us here.
Now, the demonic beings, that word that instigates fear in people initially, it's like, oh my God, is literally it is just a label. I use two words. Dark energy describes the lower level groups of dark energies, all the different mischievous types. The demonic beings are the higher ranking energies that really do make us feel ill in our mind and in our bodies. They affect our dreams. If they're what I call the fear feeders that I'll talk about in my new book, the fear feeders will, all of a sudden, if you start having nightmares, and you're not someone that has nightmares all the time, or you're not someone that gets night terrors, and all of a sudden it's like you're up in the middle of the night and you're just screaming and screaming and screaming. Again, if it's not medical and it's not mental health, it can be an energetic cause. I've experienced dreams. If I've got a job coming up, these beings know. So just as they gave you a little bit of a nudge with your panic attack, I will get the dreams and the poking and the prodding in bed. They'll try and disrupt my sleep in more ways than one to put me off the job so that I won't do it. Now, these are just tactics that they use. Dark and demonic beings do not harm us. We and our homes are a food source because of the negative emotions and the negative trauma imprints that we create. It's really simple. When I explain it to people, they go, is that all? They do not make your head spin. You are not going to walk across the ceiling. All these weird things that people see in the movies, it really makes me quite, I need to calm, makes me quite irritated when certain movie companies create what I call horror movies. They're not movies about the paranormal. They're horror movies using paranormal ideas to create fear, paranoia, stress, anxiety. People think that they're actually getting an adrenaline rush. No, they're creating all those emotions that then, if they're vulnerable, can then draw the paranormal beings to themselves. So they go home, worrying from the movie theaters. Oh, is there something following me home? All this sort of thing creates paranoia. Paranoia is one of the worst emotions. So my voice just changed. I know when my voice changes, they're around listening. Paranoia is, they don't like their secrets being shared with humanity. Even though they helped me write my book, sometimes I tend to share too much. So paranoia is one of the emotions that really attracts these beings. right? People
Right.
think fear and hatred are the worst two emotions. No, paranoia is what I find people absolutely riddled with. I find it in their homes. I find it in their personal energy fields in their physical bodies. Paranoia builds up and builds up and builds up and attracts these beings who love paranoia because that's what they vibrate out. And then because they're in your space, you're creating more paranoia, and it becomes a bit of a vicious cycle. So then someone like me comes along and goes, okay, I identify what all the emotions are, the emotional imprints, the trauma imprints, where they are in the home, how many beings there are, what type of being, why I'm specific. Management has just said to me, tell people why I am specific with the wording. We manifest the way our lives go by what we create with our thoughts and then our words. So if I want to clear something from someone's home, just say there's a dark energy hanging out in the kitchen by the stove, I will use my dowsing, use my pendulum, and I'll go, okay, what's in the kitchen? I'll go, is there dark energy in the kitchen? And I'll get a yes. I'll go, okay, how many? Oh, okay, 12. They always travel in groups. There is never just one.
Right.
Remember gang mentality? You always travel in groups for safety. This is how these guys work. So I will go by the type of being, the number of the beings, and then I'll go, okay, what are they attached to? And then you're going to go through a huge list, and the list just keeps growing, but the list needs to grow because you have to be really specific about what you're clearing. Otherwise, you're not moving them. You're not shifting them. You know, you can't just get your sage and go into that corner and go, I command that these demons leave the house. They're just going to stand there with their arms folded and go, what is she doing?
What are you doing?
You are ridiculous.
I get it.
Go away. Sage has its reasons, and I'm going to do a video about sage and dark energy. There are reasons why you use sage, but it just doesn't affect paranormal beings. So you've got to work out why they're there, clear the imprint, clear the being, bam. People always say you've got to get to the core of the issue to be able to shift it.
I agree. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's what I knew that I needed to do. But I didn't know who could help me. I didn't know where I could find any help. I didn't know about energy imprints and all these things, but I knew I had this burning desire, need to be open-minded and just find a solution. And I also believe that the solution would find me. If I was open-minded enough and I let things come towards me, then I would be shown the way. I would be guided.
See, I believe houses are living entities. They speak to us. I spoke to a client literally yesterday on the phone, and she said, we've been trying to do renovations and nothing is going right.
Really?
I just want you to listen to my suggestion. So I'm going to do a clearing for her, but I said, until I can do that next week, I would like to offer you a suggestion. I want you to get off the phone when we're finished speaking and go to your favorite place in the house, and I want you to talk to the house. I want you to say to the house that you are going to be doing some renovations because you would really love to add some new rooms for this, this, and this reason. Let the house know what you're going to be doing, you know, because sometimes property, sometimes the land and the gardens and the actual house itself can get really upset when they're not included in the decision making. Now, obviously, your house is not going to say yes or no, but you have included the energies of the home in the fact that there is going to be changes made. So I will be really interested when this lady gets back to me to know if she had her cup of tea, the husband had gone out, she can just sit there, put her hand on the wall and just, I'm caressing now. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I just am. I'm just rubbing the wall.
I'll have a go. I'll do the same.
Is that I talk to the house and I let it know what's going to be happening. And then you find that there aren't as many difficulties that happen. It's really hard to explain how and why this works. Because everything has a vibration. If you want to go scientifically, I can't talk the science talk because I'm not a scientist, but everything that is in this reality has a vibration. So you talk to that house. It is a living entity in a sense, like everything that is around us carries a vibration. You know, so it's like the dark energy beings. I get on so well with them because I treat them with respect. I understand that they are a vibration. Because I say to people are quite happy to talk to guides, angels, archangels, you know, God, source, creator, Christ consciousness energy. As soon as you mention dark energies, they go, and the fear and the breath, because society has trained them to be fearful of these beings. These beings are actually teachers, which is it's a whole other video that I'll be doing, is that they teach us certain things about ourselves, about an awareness. They're actually part of our, excuse the microphone. These dark energy beings are actually part of our enlightenment. They're here to help us deal with our shadow selves. So embracing that and going, okay, why do I keep attracting this type of being? Oh, I'm creating this sort of emotion, and unpacking, doing the detective work. Like when I go through a house and I find what the cause is, when you get to the core of the issue of why you're creating that particular emotional imprint, you work on not doing it. It is as simple as that. I'm living proof of doing this work. I've been working with these beings for probably about 30 years, sort of had contact with spiritual energy my whole life. But for the last 30 years, I've been working with these energy beings on different levels. But I understand them, right? There's no fear. I'm still here. Still got all my limbs. I'm still fully functional. So you know they're not going to hurt you. That is what we're trained to think.
Yeah, well, that's great. Thanks, Anna. Talk to you soon.
You're welcome.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Right, okay.
Now I've got to be serious. No, it's not going to happen. It's okay.
No, I'm afraid look, these are demonic beings that you can't be laughing about things. I can't be laughing about it. I nearly went nuts over this. I can't be doing it. No.
I'm going to include that. I'm going to include that in as a little edited piece. I'm going to put that in somewhere. I've lost the plot just then. I asked the paranormal beings in my house tonight to just give me 2 hours maximum with no interference at all. Just to give me some headspace where I can just think straight without having to
And have they complied up to now?
Oh my gosh. So I know they're around. It's like, because we're talking about them as well.